All right, gonna get into this another episode of the bite-sized segment, the 52. Short little segment here. Gonna talk about me and Jennifer's little date night we had in Austin this past weekend. Had a great time, great time, great experience at the mothership. Good time. I'll get into all of that. But Saturday morning we left here. Not morning, afternoon. We kind of left around 2 o'clock. Like I said, we wanted to take our time, enjoy the ride, just enjoy our time together. Because like I said, I've been working a lot and we don't go out too much. We don't do that too often. And when we do go out, it's going to be something bigger and cool. And Jennifer kind of surprised me with tickets to Jeff Dye. Great comedian, awesome comedian, very smart, very quick, good, hell of a show. Again, I'll get into that. Started watching Jeff Dye on one of our favorite podcasts, The Fighter and the Kid. Saw him on there a couple of times. It's hilarious, funny. Saw him some other things. Good, funny guy, Enjoy it. We were looking forward to the show. And as Jennifer said, he hadn't been. So let's go check it out. Let's go check out the mothership. And I was excited because I've been wanting to do this for a long time. It was always sold out at the beginning when it first opened up. It was always sold out. It was hard to get into. And then with my work schedule, it was just crazy. Couldn't get in there and just didn't have the time to do it, to run down there. But, it calmed down. It's still busy as hell in there, but you can, now you're able to get tickets. And now all his shows were sold out this week at Jeff Dye's, but we got in there. Jennifer got me these tickets. So we head on down there. We leave, like I said, we leave around 2 o'clock from our house, Conroe. Head down that way, and we usually I like going the 290 route, and it's just a nicer ride. I enjoy that nice country scenic route. Anyway, we do that, and then we do our stop in Waller. We do our Buc-ee's Waller stop. Going down, we get to the Buc-ee's, pull in. We see a lot of law enforcement, the state troopers, the whole nine. They're hanging out. We go inside, get our snacks, gas up. I got the 3-meat sandwich, the brisket, the turkey, and the sausage. The brisket, sausage, and turkey, amazing. I was done for the day. I was full. I was feeling good. We got getting snacks, chips, whatnot. And like I said, we were gassing up, and I was staring. I was looking at the cops, and they were all getting ready. You could tell they were all they were lining up in a certain order there. And me and Jennifer got in the car and said, I'm guessing they're bringing somebody home from the floods. And then we started driving, and then we're getting close to Chapel Hill, and then Jennifer was looking at it, and because we make it a rule when we're driving in the car, we kind of make it a rule that when we're in the car together, even as a family, when Dylan's in the car, we're all in the car, we try to put our phones down, talk to one another, because it's important to do that. Try to see how things are going. With our son, try to see where he check his temperature, see what he's doing, what he's into, try to figure out what he's into. But anyway, with me and Jennifer, we were driving, and we usually put our phones down, but she wanted to see what was going on. She wanted to see what happened, which person, who it was coming home. And she looked into it, and it was her child, Shiloh Wilson. He was on his, they were bringing him back home to Kingwood. And she read about it. She said, yeah, they left over there from Kerrville at, I think it was like 9:30, 10 o'clock. And we were driving, and right as we were coming through, I think it was Chapel Hill, and getting to Chapel Hill, passing Chapel Hill, I forget what town it was, but right in that thing that we saw the caravan coming. Texas, man, it's we take care of each other. We usually come together, we take care of our own and whatnot, and we try to handle our own business, and we also get help from the Cajun, our Cajun friends next door. They usually help us out there and help us when things of the tragedies happen here in Texas, and we are very appreciative of our Cajun neighbors there, our Louisiana friends, so anyways, like it or not, it's one of the best states there is, man. It's you meet all kinds of people in Texas, man, and it's but the whole point of this was just like they're bringing this child home to Kingwood, and he's taking they're giving this path route, they're giving him this pull to the side while the caravan, the caravan's coming through, with the cops leading the way and the firefighters and all this, and there's people on the side of the road, set up on their tailgates and stuff, and taking their hats off. It was really, really nice to see that, and it was an honor to see that. Yeah, it was the Wilson. I think the Wilson family lost. I think all their family. It was the mom and dad and the son, the Shiloh. He was a rodeo, going to be a rodeo, big star in the rodeo world. And, but it was nice to see all the overpasses had, the firefighters with the flags up and everything. It was a really nice thing to help, and it's really cool donating money. I think George Strait donated tons of money. And that's really nice. I love to see that when it all comes together like that, people come together. Anyway, Didn't mean to I don't want to bring it down, but yeah, that just was nice to see. That was cool to be a part to see that and pay our respects, and in our own little way to pull aside and pull over for a little bit and let them have their moment. And like I said, the people watching, it was great, man. It's great to see the community like that come together. It was really nice. Got down there, Austin. It was really hot. It was blazing hot down there, man. It was steamy down there on 6th Street. It was hot. We get there, parking was I think it was like $35, but thing is, you don't want to do any shortcuts and get towed or get a boot. There was a truck that had a boot on it. It was hilarious. But you don't want to take those chances. So you pay 30, 40, I think it's 35 or $40. Pay our money, get out, we start heading down to 6th Street. They were right there. And we got to, it was a new one. It was a place called Chupacabras before. Well, the first one, we went back about a year ago. It was in the corner where we were at. It was like a real steep hill. And we walked on to 6th Street right there. And it was a place called Chupacabras before. Now, I forget what it's called now. It's a little country bar. And had the swinging gates. And then we go in there. And Jennifer's like, oh, let's go in there. They had two gals were in there singing music there. And it was really cool, man. They were doing some covers and shit and stuff like that. Doing some covers. And walked in. It's really cool. It had like a two-level thing. You go upstairs, you can go up to a level like that, and you can stand up and watch over the crowd there. It was really cool. Nice little bar. It was small. They're tiny places, and it was just it was not, even though it was hot outside, it was kind of cool in there. It wasn't too hot. We had a good time. Had a couple of drinks in there, and then we walked out of there, and we got closer to the time for the show. You had to stand in line, get ready before the show starts. You have to get in line, check in, and it's about 6 o'clock. We check in. And as we're checking in, we're new to this. Our first time going to this to the mothership. It's our first time. So I catch this guy outside. His name is Zach. Zach Golden. He helped us through the whole thing. Because we didn't know anything. We didn't know. Like I said, first time. We had questions. Zach helped us out. I asked him, how do we, where do we check in? Because we saw the sign that says you got to check in around the corner. It wasn't in front of the mothership. It was around the corner. He's like, yeah, man, we're going to set these things. We're not quite set up yet, but we're going to set up around the corner, and you go over there and you stand in and you get checked in, or whatever, they bring the tablets and whatnot. But yeah, Zach was very helpful, helped us out, put us over there. We were first in line. We always like to be first in line. I'm very punctual. I like to be ahead of things, because in case anything goes awry, I want to be prepared. So we get there, we get in line, we're waiting there, talk to some other folks that start showing up in line, and it was nice. We got there, we got checked in, got the wristbands on. Zach told us where to go. He goes, hey, man, when you go inside, go to the bar, go to Mitzi's bar, hang out in there, pay attention. They're going to do a call where you have to be ready to go. And they're going to say, hey, you're at the 7 o'clock call, get ready. And you get in line, you start getting in line. He goes, that way because what it is, if you're first in line, you get the best, one of the closer tables to the closest to the stage, which is what I like to be. I like to be close to the stage so I can get the experience. And so, yeah, we get there, go up there, have a couple of drinks there. They call for it. We go upstairs. It's really nice. It's very organized. Very, 7 o'clock show's ready to go in the Fat Man room. The Fat Man room. We're ready to go. So we get lined up. It's very quick. Get you in there. Get you upstairs. Let the restrooms are downstairs. No. And then this is the hard part here. When you get there, I forgot this. When you get there, the hard part is you get your phone put in those little bags. And it wasn't even that I didn't care about that part. The only thing is just like the lights went out here at home, and we had to make sure the dogs and Dylan were good. But so that was the only thing we were panicking about. We're making sure everything was okay because the power was out of here at home. But other than that, we sent a text to Dylan right before we went in and said, hey, we're gonna have our phone. Just make sure you're okay. We're gonna be out. We'll be out to make this. It was terrible timing for the lights to go out, but that's just the way it is. But everything was fine. In the end, the lights came on within another 30 minutes. Dylan had lights. Dogs were fine. They had AC again. Anyway, so they take your phone, and it's weird. It's just like, it's weird not to have your phone. Because they give you the little bag. They give it back to you, but it's locked up, in this thing. And so me and Jennifer were like, okay. But for us, it's like I said, it wasn't a big deal because we do this when we go on these trips, like these little date nights. We try not to pick up the phone unless it's an emergency or, we forgot to tell Dylan something with the dog or something. Other than that, we tried to pick up our phones. We try to be in the moment, which is, because we're on our phones way too much as it is, during the week. And, it's because of, just everybody's on social media, kind of thing. And I like taking pictures, and I'm at work, I do things with the phone and, I'm taking photos and whatnot. Anyway, so they take our phones, we go upstairs, go up to the top floor up there, and it's really nice place, nice venues. They really outdone themselves in that place. It's really nice. You go up there, everything was seamless, fast. You get your bartender, you get the 2-drink minimum. You have to get 2 drinks. and which is fine. The prices it is reasonable. That's what it is. It's what it is. It's what's going to cost. You're going out special night. You're expecting the prices. It's not like, oh my God, he charges way too much for this. No, I mean, it is, go to dinner. It's a special time. It's a special, date night. You don't skimp on that. You make sure you have a good time. And bartender comes over, get your stuff. He goes, hey man, we get your 2 drinks now. He goes, that because it's gonna get packed, it's gonna get busy. You might not see me again. He goes, I'm just being honest, not because I'm a terrible waiter. It's just because it just gets busy, and it is. There was a lot of people in there. It was busy. It was a sold out show. Anyway, yeah. So the guy brings back their great service again. Zach was there. He's like, checking on us. Hey, you guys are good. He was in the corner over there. He's like, you guys good? Need anything? Holler if you need me. If you got any questions, I'm still here. Throughout the show, in between the show. And he's a great guy, great. Again, I can't say enough how much he was helpful to us. Anyway, they got a couple openers. Jeff Dye comes out, man, he killed it. He did a hell of a job. And some folks don't like his comedy, and because it tends to be, and I don't give a shit because I said it's for me. It's for me. We let our hair down. I don't have any hair, but we let our hair down, and you put all that shit down because you want to forget about real life for a little bit. So he's talking trash. Yeah, he's a little conservative guy. He's on the conservative side, I would say. Nothing wrong with that. It's just comedy. It's just comedy. You're supposed to be laughing. And 2 folks stepped up and walked out, and it was just hilarious. It's just funny. It's like, you're at a comedy show. You can't be that sensitive, man. You gotta get over yourself. If there was somebody up there making fun of conservatives or making fun of, if the other way around, it would be no big deal. Hey, you're here to laugh, man. You're not here to, stand on. You're not here to be, complaining and putting out your propaganda. It's not that kind of a thing, man. It's like, have fun, man. Just let loose, And like I said, Jeff Dye put a hell of a show on and great time, man. He had hours worth of material. Good stuff, man. Solid material. Kind of saying the same thing that, we're saying, America's the best place to be. There's nothing you can complain about who's in charge right now. You complain, do all that until you're, blue in the face. But no matter how thin you cut it, this is the best, this is the best place to live. The U.S. is the best place to be. And it was just nice for everybody to not be so uptight, except to the left. But other than that, the whole room was loose, man. You could tell it was maybe 70-30 split of how it was, left and right. It was more right, but it's Texas, man. What do you want? But he was a great guy, and nobody gave a shit about the political views. Nobody gave a shit about that. Everybody was just having a good time. People were talking. Like I said, my thing with the phone was me and Jennifer. We were at the table, because it's like, before the show starts, you got like 30 minutes, you're sitting there, 30 minutes before the show starts, you're sitting at your table, you're having your drinks, you're having your cocktails. And for me and Jennifer, it was cool. I mean, we were having a good time. We were talking bullshit and laughing, just talking about other experiences, other times we came to Austin and just the things we've seen in downtown Austin, 6th Street, because it's downtown 6th Street is alone, by itself, it's a comedy show. Just the things you see and the characters you see out there, it's funny, it's a good time. We have a good time. And we were discussing, should we have pizza afterwards, or should we wait to go to Buc-ee's? Those are the kind of things that were just being silly. And you look at other tables where there was couples, you could tell other couples were on their date night as well too. And you could tell they were very uncomfortable without their phone. They didn't barely talk to each other. It's just like, man, it's just you're supposed to be with your best friend. When you go on a date night, this is your best friend. You're supposed to be able to chit chat and talk with with her, him the whole evening, without any pause in there. And because I like to run my mouth, and Jennifer, she lets me do most of the talking, but it's funny. But you should be able to do the talking. It was just funny to see some of the uncomfort with the couples there, and then where they didn't know what to say to each other. It's like, hey man, the phone, man, it's crazy. It's just people where you could tell people were just uncomfortable without their phone. But like for us, it's no big deal. For me, it's no big deal. Sometimes at work, I don't touch my phone at all day because I'm in the moment. I'm doing things. I'm working. And there's no time to pick up the phone. So for us, it was not a big deal. But it was just funny to see the other couples uncomfortable and not having to know what to say. They're very quiet at tables. But for the most part, it's a great time. Great for the crowd the show was great, and it was a damn good time. It was funny. Show was over. We were going down, and you go to the restrooms, and it was all the guys were talking because they were all of us were we had 2 beers, and during the comedy show, you don't want to get up, you don't want to be disrespectful to the comedians and get up in the middle of the show. So we're all busting and we're all in line. We're like, oh, holy shit, I got pissed too. And then we were all in line, and the guys are like, man, I'm gonna fucking piss myself. And we were all saying, it's just funny how all of us were saying the same thing. And they were all excited. Oh, we got a nice flow going, because the restrooms, there's like they're downstairs. You had to go downstairs, and it was just a nice. At one point, it was just a nice flow. People going in and out, in and out. It was just fast because it was just funny how guys talk when we're in line, and it's just funny. But we were just discussing, and then I met a couple guys there in line. We were talking about while we're waiting. They came to see. He goes, yeah, we come to the mothership. He lived in the guy behind me lived in Austin, so he came. He was telling me all the times he comes to the mothership, and I was like, yeah, it was my first time. He's like, and I told him how much I loved it, and it was great. He goes, yeah, if you live here, man, you can. Sometimes you can come up here, and if you wait until you get in the standby, if you get into the standby list, sometimes you can get into a show. And there was a couple that was there saying that they got to see like Shane Gillis the night before for free because they were just hanging out at Mitzi's, and they were on that standby list, and they got to see a show because they don't, they want to make sure the room is packed. And those shows are always, every show is packed there. They're always sold out. But every now and again, you get people that their plans get ruined, they can't make it, so there's a couple spots up there. They want to fill all those seats in. So those folks were just telling me different things, like, man, you come down here on a Tuesday night, and if you just hang out at Mitzi's bar, you might be able to go see a show that was sold out. That now you can sneak on in. They'll let you in there, and it was cool experience. Everybody was friendly, everybody was talkative, it was nice. Again, when you don't have that phone in your hand, you gotta talk to the guy next to you. You gotta talk. There's no phone, so you gotta talk. And I like that because I get to know people, and I like to meet new folks all the time, and it was cool. It was just a real cool experience, man. We did that, and show was great. Like I said, again, Zach was great, man. When we were heading out, Zach was like, hey, man, y'all be safe, I hope your dogs are good. He remembered the conversation we told him about our lights are out. And he's like, oh shit, it's a bummer. Your dogs and your kid don't have no light. I said, yeah, I think they're coming on soon. But it was cool as we were walking. I was like, hey man, good luck to the pets and your kid there. Y'all be safe going back, and things like that. Those little things like that stick with you and make you want to come back and spend your money at those places like that, because you never know what you're gonna get at these places. You just never know what kind of service you're going to get or what kind of staff you're going to get. But they were great. Again, Zach can't say it enough. He's a great guy, very helpful. We had a lot of questions, and he was very helpful with us. And he was patient with us because, like I said, I don't like to miss out. And I like to get, screwed in the end. Like, sometimes you get put at the end of the line sometimes because you don't know what's going on or how to line up. But it was great. Great time. I'm looking forward to our next show that we go to. I don't know what it'll be, but we're looking forward to it. I know that we enjoy Brian Callen's work. So hopefully Brian Callen will have a show out there, and we can go check that out. But a great experience all around, great experience. And I love these things here. I kept them because there were the water bottles. You get water in their souvenir cups, and they got the little alien on there. And it's great, man. They got a nice souvenir little story before you walk out, man. They know how to do it, man. They know how to get you right before you walk out. You get the little merch before you head out. And it was good. But I love it, man. And and I had been waiting for this place to open up for the longest time, man. I had been waiting since, Rogan got here in Texas, and he had talked about doing it, and he was talking about the different places he was thinking about, and I was like, man, I can't wait till that place opens up. But like I said, I didn't be able to go because of scheduling, and it's always sold out, so it's hard for us to get down there. And but we made it. It was a good time, great show. On the way back, again, we had a debate: do we get pizza or do we say, we'll just wait till we get on the way closer to home. We'll stop back at the Waller Buc-ee's again and get something to snack on there. By the way, at Buc-ee's there, when you go to Buc-ee's, Jennifer tried it for the first time. We tried it for the first time. We split, was it not a beaver tail, something beaver tail or paddle tail. It's like a big pastry about like this. And we call it a beaver tail. And it was a big pastry like this, very sweet, a lot of cinnamon. It was a great pastry, man. We split that. Again, trying to watch the girlish figure here, so I wasn't trying to eat too much. But we had a blast in Austin. It was a good time. But my whole point of this story was just like sometimes you got to put those phones down, find out what the more important thing is to talk to one another, man. You talk to each other. It's a good time, man. You get to meet people that are just as weird as you are, man. It's fun, And like I said, with me and Jennifer, it's great because we talk all the time. We talked the whole way there. We talked all the way back. We talk shit to each other. It's just funny. It's just like you said, she's my best friend. We have a good time. We enjoy going to these little trips because, like I said, I don't do vacations. I work a lot. I like to work all the time, and I like to always stay busy. So we don't you don't necessarily do a vacation, but we do these little trips. Like our next trip is going to be, it's just to Houston, but it's still a date night. It's a nice little trip for us, and it's a day for us to get out. We're going to go see another comedian down at the Improv. Got another comedy show, and when we go to the Improv, it's always an excuse for us to go to was it Hugh O'Connor's? It's a nice little Irish pub down there, and Jennifer usually gets the fish and chips. I usually get I'm boring. I get a burger. I might step out I might step outside my comfort zone this time, try something a little different, maybe shepherd's pie. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, Jennifer usually gets the fish and chips. But I might try something different this time. But that's a nice little thing. It's like you can tell it's family owned. As you see the same guys there, the same bartenders, and it's really cool. It's a nice location, a nice place, good atmosphere. You know, music's on, not too loud. You know, it's a really nice place. But Hugh O'Connor's that one. So we always look forward to going to the improv shows. We had a nice little weekend there. It was nice and quiet. Nice little run down to Austin, ran back. We got home last night, about 1 o'clock in the morning, something like that. It wasn't a big deal. Got home, and we went to bed. We got up. I usually don't sleep in, but I slept in a little late this morning. And then Jennifer wakes me up and she goes, "Hey, it's gonna pour down." I was like, "Okay." She goes, "Would you do me a favor and do our yard here?" I said, "Yeah, sure." And it's just like that thing. It's just like, when you have somebody you care about, like she went out of her way to make sure that I had made it to the mothership, and she does our thing. She runs the finances, and she makes sure she scrimps and saves so I can we can do things like this, and she puts money aside, and it's very, very, very thoughtful. So the least I could do is get my big ass up, go cut the grass for her, make it look nice out there, so that way she can that way the dogs have to save, because this time of the year the snakes are bad and shit like that. So when she told me, I didn't hesitate. Most times you're like, sure. No, this time I was like, no, I got it. Can I get up? I want to do this because, like I said, she went out of her way for me. So it's that thing where I'm very grateful for her. She's keeps me in line. Like I was telling my students, they asked me something the other day. I said, yeah, and I tell this to everybody. I said, if it wasn't for Jennifer, man, I'd be in a gutter somewhere. I said, because she keeps me in line, and that's the best way to do it. I mean, you got to have one. The relationship has to have one boss, and that and I enjoy my boss, and she's the best. I'm kidding with that, but she's the best. She keeps me in line. She keeps me focused, and that's why I keep doing what I do. And I try to do all the art that I do, and try to do extra projects, try to do extra hustling and stuff like that, because you want to make sure that I give her everything that we can. Her and my son. I try to give them nice experiences, and so it's worth it. It's worth everything that you put into it, and. Like I said, it was great. I said, me and my son, we got up this morning. We got up, got our big guys up. We went out there. I weeded the edge. I did the weed eating, and he cut the middle of the grass, and he cut the center of the grass. And we did some trimming on the bushes and whatnot. Made them look nice for Jennifer. And then, because we can't get on the riding lawnmower because that's her thing. If I get on the riding lawnmower, or me or Dylan try to get on the lawnmower, it's a fight, because she likes to do it, because that's where she gets her sunbathing in, and her multiple tannings in the day, because she goes to the tanning and then she does that outside. So we're not allowed to touch the riding lawnmower, and so that's why she said, you guys go do the weeding and trim the bushes and the hedges and whatnot. And she goes, I'll go out there before the rain comes. And yeah, she got washed out. She got to go out there for like 5 minutes, and it poured down. It's been pouring down, and I think the rains are really getting bad out there again. They're coming down out there in Kerrville again, which is really sad. It's getting really, they're dumping a lot of water out there, and it's yeah, it was a good set. We had a good Sunday here. We got up, did our thing, cut the grass. Yeah, man, I enjoy doing those things with my son. I teach him how to work. The things you get, I try to teach him how to work. The whole thing: work smarter, not harder. Get all your branches in one bundle. Put them on He's got this thing like a buggy thing. I said, put them on that. Take it one load, man. You gotta learn how to work. Don't be walking back and forth. You're gonna kill yourself. It's too hot out here, man. But I like working in the heat sometimes, because it helps me get more, because because Texas heat, man, you got to get used to it, man. You got to get acclimated to that stuff. So that's why I try to go out there and work a little bit out there with Dylan, and we get out there and we get it, clean it up, man. Clean it up for Jennifer, man. She deserves it. She deserves our help. She deserves everything we give her, man. She deserves it. So, but yeah, that was it, man. We had a damn good weekend. By the way, if you're curious, these are $9 waters, but they're cool as shit, man. They're cool souvenirs. $9 water bottles. And like I said, I dig it, man. Like I said, I'm a big guy. I'm a big tchotchke guy. I like souvenirs because they're memories. It's not even just like, people say, you make getting cluttered. No, it's not cluttered. They're memories for me. It's a memory. I won't forget that. It's our first time at the mothership. Good times. And that's why I keep these little things, my little stuff there. I keep it there. And Jennifer calls me, she a pack rat or a fucking hoarder. But no, it's just, for me, it's memories. And eventually I like to turn one of our rooms into a room with all the memories we have from, from when we started dating till now, but I like doing stuff like that. I like doing cool shit like that where it's, just memories, man. Memories are good, man. Not everything's in the phone. Sometimes you can do, stuff like that. So anyway, good weekend, and just stay tuned, man, for the next one. Thank you.